All right, everybody, welcome again to yet another installment. You can tell we're doing all the same day because I try to, change my Giants gear every video.
I wear this white T-shirt after work every day.
So that's your style.
Yeah, that's my.
There's no spaghetti sauce
with
today,
the socks.
so that's nice.
Yeah.
And
no underarm
Italian by any
pits.
chance?
No underarm pits. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I tuck it in the gold chain. No,
nice. So, welcome to We're the Fantasy Captains, and we're doing a couple of this week. A group of little shorter videos by position, just kind of talking about one of my favorite topics is looking at targets, for each position.
Especially in PPR.
In a PPR, yes. Sorry, I gotta keep saying that. We'll go over some standard stuff in some future videos, and we'll talk about some leagues with super flexes and double quarterbacks and IDP. We'll get into that stuff. As things go on. But we just want to touch on tight ends a little bit in this video. And again, like I said, I kind of like to look at last year's targets to kind of look at some guys that maybe people aren't ranking that high. This year we kind of steal a little later in the draft. I rarely reach for a tight end, even with Jimmy Graham. The leagues that did draft him in early last year I did not do well in. I just felt it didn't really help.
You don't have to stretch for a tight end. You can get one in the 10th round. He's like a wide receiver, but
not where he's not getting paid like a wide receiver.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Lawyers said he's a tight end.
Oh, that's true.
Obviously the top guy, shocking, Jimmy Graham. He did have 152 targets, and he was the 15th overall in the NFL, every position, 15th ranked in targets. So
that's big.
Yeah, the guy is a stud, and you draft him that way. So I'm not saying don't go out and get him, but if you're going to do it, it's most likely in the first round, early second round. He's not dropping further than that in most drafts.
Well, these next two are interesting. Tony Gonzalez retired.
Yep.
Antonio Gates is old.
Yep. So Darius Green might be getting a lot of these targets.
Are you giving it to Darius Green? And also, is Tony Gonzalez getting split between Julio Jones and Roddy White, or their second year tight end? What's his name? Totoli or something? I forget his name. Something like that.
That guy.
Totolini.
Totolini.
Is he going to get some of the play?
Yeah. You know what? I have to see a little more. That's where preseason comes in.
Yeah.
With a team like that, when you lose a guy like Tony Gonzalez, you see where Matt Ryan, who he kind of gravitates to, and who he's going to share the ball with. Will they be dumping out of the backfield more? Will Jacquizz Rodgers come in and get the ball on some dumps?
Well, I think
if Steven Jackson could walk it all, will he get the ball? And right, exactly. We like Freeman
right.
a lot, the rookie.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of a pass catcher he is, but again, that's why you kind of look at preseason. At the end of preseason, check out the targets and see what's going on. But it is a good point to point out that the Tony Gonzalez last year as a Falcon got 121 targets, but Tony Gonzalez is Tony Gonzalez.
And Julio Jones was hurt all year.
It doesn't mean just the tight end's going to get that kind of play.
No, but Julio Jones was hurt all year.
Oh, excellent point. Excellent point. They didn't
have to throw somewhere.
Excellent point.
And they were still 4 and whatever.
Yeah. But then you take in Antonio Gates, to your point.
Yeah.
He's
still there. But
he's still there at 118 targets.
He's definitely passing the baton.
People are getting high on Darius Green.
Yeah.
Even if he gets half those targets, he's a valuable tight end, depending on how many touchdowns he could put in there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Jordan Cameron, who, last year was a
first half of the season.
Great sleeper pick last year, but he's on everybody's radar now.
I had him last year because I'm a Browns fan.
And without Josh Gordon, they're going to be keen on him.
He did great the first half of the season. The last 4 games, he barely touched the ball.
Yep.
So.
And no Josh Gordon, possibly Manziel getting in there. He's, in my opinion, where he's getting drafted, I don't think his value is there.
Yeah, no, I think he's going to be sort of a bust this year.
Yeah, but let's talk about a couple of guys a little further down this target list, but still high on the target list that are much further down on where they're getting drafted, in their average draft position right now. One guy you really like is Charles Clay on Miami Dolphins. 100 targets last year, and that's not in their new offense.
Yeah, exactly, and their new offense is good for running backs and tight ends. So I can see that going up. He's going late, that 9th, 10th, 11th round. So I'm definitely keeping my eye out for him. I have a few others that I like to look at, but I don't draft a tight end
today.
Yeah, exactly. I don't draft a tight end until at least the 10th round.
Right, but that's where Clay. I'll tell you right now where Clay's average draft position is. Let me just go to tight ends real quick. Why don't you entertain the crowd a little bit while I click on the tight
There you
ends
go,
and your draft position? Yeah, I mean, Clay right now is going 135th overall, so about 13th, 12th round, depending if it's a 10 or 12 round league. So,
I'll reach for him in the 10th or 11th.
No issue taking him there. And another guy who, I like there too is in that kind of position was Heath Miller.
Oh,
because
I'm high on him.
He was hurt first half of the league last year. He came on real strong. He had 81 targets, and that was probably about a half a season. Yeah. And he's a guy that I don't hear many people at all talking about this year.
And they lost Sanders. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's going to be an extra, balls to go around in Pittsburgh for sure. Antonio Brown's the man there for sure.
Right, but he's going to get a lot of double coverage this year.
And Roethlisberger loves Heath Miller's security blanket.
Exactly. Again, there's a guy, a quarterback who's he can trust someone and he'll throw him the ball. Absolutely, I think Heath Miller is a nice little steal. I'm going to mention a guy. I know you don't like him, and you could come at me for this guy, Jared Cook. The guy's a beast.
He burned me so many times.
I know.
I drafted him 2 years in a row.
I know.
He's all you could draft him. He'll be open.
85 targets still last year. It's still
all in the first 2 games of the season.
All right, if he did have a monster first 2 games, I'll give you that. But it's not like he gets 80 catches in the first 2 games.
Yeah.
But I mean, the guy physically is a beast, and he has all the skills are there. And I keep waiting for him to break out. I'm not saying I'm going to reach for him one, and I'm not saying if I draft him he's going to be my only tight end. But he's a guy that if you have the depth on your bench that you can pick a guy up to take a flyer on, he's one of those guys. So. Is there any other tight ends that are kind of on your radar? I love the black unicorn, Martellus Bennett. He's an ex-Giant, but he's really doing great over in Chicago. Cutler does look for him, and with Jeffrey and Marshall going to be taking a lot of attention away. I think Bennett. I mean, he had 94 targets last year, and he had 95 for Forte. So obviously Cutler likes to dump it off too.
Who my guy on this list is? Who's going to have a monster year? Is Greg Olsen. Cam Newton has no one else to throw it to. He's got a rookie wide receiver. He had 117 targets last year. I'm thinking, top 5 tight end, no doubt.
Curious where he's getting drafted.
I'm not reaching for him because I think he'll go earlier.
8th round?
I wouldn't go tight end in the 8th round personally, but I might, depending. If he drops to the 10th round, no-brainer for me if he drops.
Yeah, if he's there around.
Who else is Cam going to throw it to?
No, it's good value at that point. It's a really good, excellent point. So, I mean, I think we're both kind of in the same boat. If we kind of wait for the tight ends, we don't stretch. But if there's value there, I mean, this is what I like to preach. I don't like to go in a draft saying, well, I'm going to draft a running back on the tight end. And then this.
Yeah, you can't. You don't know how the draft is going to fall.
You don't know how your draft's going to go. Look at the best value on the board. And like I said, for me, I love in a PPR league to look at targets because if the guy's getting the ball coming his way, eventually he's going to turn into points.
Yeah, if you can catch.
So,
thanks for tuning in. You can follow us at fantasycaptains.com at Twitter, facebook.com/fantasycaptains. Like our page. We're going to be posting stuff all the time. Check out our YouTube channel. You can email us at fantasycaptains@gmail.com. Like we said, if we get enough people, we can do a live show and answer things live through Google Hangout or something like that. So yeah, tune in, get interactive, email us, and we're here to answer your questions. We also have the app. You can feel free to test it. It's free. Please test it. Give us your feedback. Tell us other things you might like with the app. You can just go to fantasycaptains.com and sign up. You can use any credit card you want. It has to be a real credit card number, but we're not going to bill you because it's in beta now. So your feedback is appreciated.
That's it.
Thanks,
See you
guys.
next time.